Hey guys, I'm back. I really enjoyed doing that video yesterday, so I thought I'd have another go. I've had a Google around some more like British slang terms in particular, rather than looking at the differences in how we use, what we name things and how we use the same words. I have tried to primarily stick with words that I am more inclined to use, but not all of them. I'm not going to use I'm not going to use all of these. Some of them as well are just ones I quite like, or ones that you're probably quite likely to hear if you were in England, depending on obviously which part of the country you're in, because we all have our different little dialects and stuff. I do want to start off though by having a go at comparing our education systems, because having had friends over in the States for something like 15 years now, I think, when I met Emily, my first friend, from way back when we were on holiday. We were quite young and it was really difficult to kind of figure out what year we were in, because obviously like you use grades, we use years, and they don't coincide with each other. A bit like how, ground floor, first floor, second floor, and you go first, second, third. It's a bit like that, like the numbers just don't coincide. So from what I've gathered, you're in preschool like 3-4 years old, and then you go into kindergarten, which is I think our version of year 1, so that's 5 years old roughly, and then you have first grade, which is our year 2, second grade, which is our year 3, and so on and so on and so on. But you've also got like middle school as well. Like we go primary school ages 4 to 11, which is reception, year 1, year 2 up to year 6, and then we have secondary school, which is ages, what would it be, 11 to 16, which is years 7 to 11. Then we have college, but I went to my secondary school to go to my college, which is years 12 and 13, although we call that A level because that was the qualification we were doing at the time, but it's still year 12 and year 13. And then we're at university from 18 to 21. Whereas you guys, you have like preschool, and then you have elementary school, which is year 5 to 10. Then you have middle school, which is like 6th to 8th grade, age 11 to 13, I think I've got written down here. And then you have high school, which is 9th to 12th grade, but you kind of also call that being like a freshman and a junior and a senior, and can't remember what the other one is, but it's still 9th to 10th grade, a bit like the A level 12 and 13. Yeah, I think that's right. Please kind of correct me on your side of stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's like first grade is year 2. I'm pretty sure I've got like at least that amount right, which is just a kind of information I wish I'd kind of worked out, 10 or so years ago, because it just would have made things a bit easier, because I could have like translated it for both of us. But anyway, let's see. When I say thank you, a lot of the time I tend to say, like, especially in an informal manner, or like when I get off a public bus, I might say cheers to the bus driver. Let's say cheers or tar. I don't say it all the time, but I do say it quite a lot to like people I'm trying to be friendly with, even though I'm probably more likely to say thanks to my actual friends. It's just a different way of saying thank you. There's no thank you is very formal, but it's not necessarily informal either. Anyway, to chat someone up is to hit on them. I'm not sure, like I don't know if you have any of these terms. You probably have some of them, you probably use some of them yourselves, because obviously like with the internet and YouTube and TV, being, you know, broadcast all over the world and whatever, like, we kind of are able now to pick up each other's languages a lot more easily. So you probably know a fair amount more than we kind of realise. Cheerio is a quite nice one that I like. It's like a goodbye, you know, cheerio. I think it's kind of stereotypically quite a British kind of, maybe more like posh, like in the kind of stereotypical view other countries have of England as being a bit kind of up ourselves, maybe a bit. A cock up. To cock something up is to make a mistake. I tried to find the etymology behind that. Apparently, like, the first kind of uses of the word cock were when something's a bit askew, like a bit off. So yeah, if something's cocked, like think about cocking a shotgun, it's not, yeah, it's at an angle. So cocking something up means it's not right. I think that's about right. If something's cracking, which if I ever show you Wallace and Gromit, you'll probably need to know, you know, like, I'm pretty sure they use cracking there, which means it's good, it's brilliant, you know, it's the best thing. We're gonna have a cracking time, we're gonna have a great time. Dishy is attractive, and so is fit. Again, not sure what you've got. I think I may have found the etymology behind dishy. Kind of starts with like the Latin word discus, which obviously you can quite easily see how you got discus to dish. And then the Germans stole a word, but it's then tish, and it started off as being a plate and now it's a table. And then that kind of led on to that word being used for a particular type of food that's being served on the table, to then go in, what, you know, presumably like then leading on to kind of more buffet styles, like, you know, what one likes, what you like, which then leads to an attractive woman. Like, it kind of makes sense to me, you know, dish, table, food, what you want, what one likes, attractive women. Like, I don't know quite if it makes as much sense to anyone else, but in my mind it has just kind of clicked a bit, and maybe not explaining it very well. But I found that quite interesting, that that's how it's kind of come around, and it's all kind of, you know, just people, different countries stealing each other's words and altering them. And I did English language for my A level, so I was really interested in kind of how language develops. Yes, do. In England, specifically the north of England, I think it can be used in a variety of ways. And it's do as in to go and do something, but it can also mean like a party. Like, you can go, you know, if you're going to have a do, you're going to throw a party. Or it might be used like to mean sell. Like, if you're in a shop, you might turn to someone who works there and ask, do you do batteries? Obviously they can't do batteries. That doesn't make any sense. It just means, do you sell them? Do you provide them? Do you have them in the shop? And the other one is like to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Prosecuted. Like, if you're caught speeding on the motorway, the police are going to do you. You're going to get done by the police. Which is all kind of things, it's like, I think a lot of people in England I think a lot of us try and avoid using stuff like that, because I think it's quite common, but it just slips into our vocabulary. A bit like I say would have instead of would have. It just kind of slips out, even though I know it's wrong and I know it's quite common. This isn't one I would ever use, the term duck. It's primarily used around Leeds, probably by like old men, and it's just a term of endearment, a bit like using love or dear, you know, they'll say, alright duck. And it's like, you know, chick as well as one, and in Scotland they use hen. You know, it's just a term of endearment, mainly towards a woman. There's nothing offensive behind it, and it's quite nice when you hear it actually. But ducks, love and dear I get, and I might actually use those myself. I might say, all right dear, all right love to my mates. But duck throws you off a bit. Now, apparently in America you don't have the term fortnight, which is 2 weeks. It's an abbreviation of 14 nights. So we go away for a fortnight, which means we're going away for 2 weeks. But apparently, from what I've discovered, you guys don't have that term, which is kind of bizarre because it's just obviously like so normal, and it's just weird to think that somebody, a country that speaks the same language doesn't have that same, basic term. But also the way we use excuse me and pardon me, there are slight differences in that, apparently. Again, apparently. You use excuse me as kind of encroaching on someone's space, which we do as well, and like when you're passing through a crowd, you say excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, and for people to like move out of your way. But we also kind of use it to like, if we've burped in public, you kind of go, excuse me, and so on. So apparently like initially, Brits have found it hilarious when you've said excuse me in the past, because it just makes it sound as if you've just belched in front of everyone. Again, I don't know kind of if that's still true. But yeah. Give us a bell is what it means to give me a call. That's another thing as well, like generally us gets you, like the plural us gets used instead of me a lot of the time. Again, I think more northern, which is again something I don't think I do that often, but I probably do it more than I think I do. So if I'm saying us, I'm not necessarily referring to a large group of people you've never heard about. I'm probably just talking about myself sometimes. The term grub, because it is like larvae and particularly kind of insects and stuff, but it also means food, which sounds really weird. But it kind of led to the term like, grubs up when it's dinner time, which is something I didn't hear until I was about 4 years old, because it doesn't get used in my family. But my best friend's mum uses that when dinner's ready. Sorry, my throat's going. Again, I managed to find the etymology behind that. We suspect it's from eating the birds that eat the larvae. And the insects, like, that's where, kind of a food chain, and we're just using the same word for it. But yeah, grubs up, that's one I'm more likely to use because I don't think you'll understand it. I don't necessarily use it myself. It depends on the company I'm with as to whether I use it or not. Now, knackered is the word that kind of got this whole thing started. This whole blog situation started. It means worn out and tired, along with like shattered and zonked, all mean the same thing, really. I know it means something different. It means something to do with like an old horse or something like that. Knackered comes from the same place. It just means that an old horse is worn out, and I think that's kind of where we get it from. I'm not entirely sure. Like, from the impression I've got from talking to you, knackered is an old horse, something like that. Anyway, but for us, knackered is worn out because an old horse is worn out, and we assume that's where it's from. We don't properly know. I don't think it just kind of appeared one day. To leg it is to run. Generally, running away from something. If you're doing something wrong and you're about to get cut, you leg it. Which I think is pretty like basic. A knuckle sandwich is very childish. It means to punch someone. If someone asks you for a knuckle sandwich, decline politely and leg it, because they're gonna biff you. Knocked is like to be in a bad mood. You're pissed off. Which, I mean, some of the websites were like, don't use that, don't say you're pissed in England because it means you're drunk. Well, it means that as well, but like we do use pissed now as well to mean angry. You know, you're in a bad mood. I think I'll finish off with one more for now. And a nice British, not my cup of tea, which just means not to my liking. It's not my thing. I think I'll pass on that. But I just thought I'd like want to leave on a nice little British tea related one. Again, I really don't know how much of this you'll know, how much you might have heard of before, and whether or not you use any of these. This is just me Googling, and until I get some more like feedback from you guys as to kind of any particular things you want to know, any particular slang terms or whatever, I'm just going to kind of go along my list that I've Googled and see, just see what you guys think. So just let me know what you think. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.